You hungry? Well, I'm hungry. You like baseball? Well, I love that shit. Want a slice of pizza? Go to New York. You want hot weather? Come to LA. You want to break bread? Call Nick Turturro. Ready, motherfucker? Are you ready? Well, I'm fucking ready. Get ready!
When I first moved out here, do you know Pete Berg?
I do know him. I'm not, I'm not.
Yeah.
Don't know him that well. I know him from the boxing gym.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew him as an actor, and now he's a big deal.
Yeah. So I went to his. I had a meeting about one of my books here, and I ended up meeting with like his 23-year-old assistant, right?
Uh-huh.
And for I know someone here knows about him, but he couldn't have been a bigger dick, right? And he's like, I just moved here, and he's like, let me ask you a question. Why would you move to Orange County? He's like, why would anyone live in Orange County? Like, just going off on this tangent.
Oh, really?
It was like the weirdest thing ever. And I was like, yeah, because it's nice. And like, it's clean and like
Right.
the beaches and my kid, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that complicated, I'm not
Right.
like 23 anymore,
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not a bad place to live.
No, the
Yeah.
food sucks generally, but
Yeah, but where in the OC do you live? Laguna?
Laguna Niguel.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's nice. Where do you live?
I live in the valley, but if I had my choice, I'd love to live in a place
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like, you guys got one of those openers for the wine?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Come on, what's not to like about it? It's a little bit of a drive for certain things, but, to
How long ago did you leave New York?
I left New York, 94. First got on NYPD Blue. I mean, I didn't even know if it was going to stick. I didn't know if it was going to work out.
NYPD Blue?
It was shot here at the Fox lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I had
You left New York to shoot NYPD Blue in California.
Well, I auditioned in New York.
Got it.
And I was still a doorman at the time because I'd only been acting like part-time, 3 or 4 years acting. And then when I got that job, they said, well, it's 7 out of 13, which really meant was they didn't like me, or they could have gotten rid of me like within the 7 shows, within the first 13. But I didn't know. I figured at that time I was working my way up, part-time actor. I figured, well, this is a chance to, I'm either going to, do this for a living or not, So I figured I'll resign, give up my job in New York, and I'll move to LA, and I'll give this show business a full shot. So that's what I did. I was just a doorman 10 years, and I finally, I resigned, and then I moved here. Then the show was a huge hit. And
I love that show.
Then the earthquake hit. I almost got killed in the earthquake.
Did you?
Yeah.
You actually almost got killed in the earthquake?
I actually almost got killed.
We're talking Northridge.
I'm talking about Northridge. I was in Sherman Oaks with my first wife. And I just stressed that. But anyway, I was in this building right behind, Ventura Boulevard, Sherman Oaks.
Oh, yeah.
You know the Cadillac by Fatburger, Casa de Cadillac?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in this building, and on the second floor, there was 3 stories, and the building almost came down, almost collapsed. It was that violent. I had never been in an earthquake, let alone one of that violence. I was just, I thought it was over. I mean, I couldn't even get to the kid. I had a daughter at the time, and then I was in my underwear like 5 o'clock in the morning. It hit like 4:31, and I was shell shocked.
Have you ever felt that way since in an earthquake where you're like, oh shit, I might die here, or no?
Only one time in Long Beach when I was a kid. I almost drowned at 17. I barely swim. And they pulled me out of the ocean when I saw, I thought I was going under. And my friends couldn't save me. Thank God for the lifeguards, because I wouldn't be here. But I thought, when I was in that hallway and it was going on, I thought, when you're in that kind of situation, you do think like, holy fuck, I might actually die. This might be it. I had thought, after that, I thought, oh shit, I got a second chance. I was like, I remember the next day I was getting stuff out of the building, and crazy David Caruso was looking for me. We were friends. And he was like, what are you doing? Get out of the building. He was yelling at me, and I was like, I'm just getting some stuff, because it was condemned. I thought it was coming down because it was so violent. I can't describe, like when I hear these aftershocks now with my family, they go, oh, that was an earthquake, and I go, that's nothing.
Right.
That's like fucking aftershock.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like when you've been through that one, you go, the only worst thing is like I could get killed, but it was so violent because it was like near the surface, and unless like it depends where you were, because like I remember talking to one of the producers, and he was like, well, where are you? I went to Orange County. I found I had a relative out there, somehow near Laguna, Miguel, somewhere near there. I remember I didn't know what to fucking do. I was like homeless. And then producer put me he was like, where are you living, Nicky? It's got David Milch. I was like, nowhere now. I go, and he was like, well, I'll put you in a hotel for a few days.
Yeah.
Then I moved in with one of my castmates, this guy Gordon, and then I said, I'm just gonna rent a house. I don't want to be in a building. I just wanted to get a ranch. I felt because I felt so fucking from that. Being in that building, I thought it was coming down. I didn't know. Being from New York, we can't relate to that stuff. I remember the week before I was watching a football game, and they said we had an earthquake, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool," not knowing the following Sunday. It was a Sunday going into a Monday, 4:31. I can't even describe it. I can't even do it. It was like say you're in your bedroom, you're sleeping, you have a wild dream. You ever jump out of your dream? I do. So you fucking fight to get out of the dream.
Right.
This wasn't a dream. This was one of those fucking dreams where you scream, and it started like this and went from like this to like a 10. It was insane. But it's just something I'll never forget.
Yeah.
Put
that in your book.
Then what?
Put that in your book.
Yeah. Put that in my book. Yeah, that's one of those things. That's why earthquakes. It's funny how when I hear earthquake, I'm like, there's going to be a big one. I just don't know when. But, they're due every 20, 25 years for a big shake. I'm not wishing it. It might be good for the market, but, maybe level things.
Yeah.
I'm not wishing it because, you could get killed too. Right. That's not something I should really wish for.
Probably not.
Probably not, right? Yeah. Have you experienced one yet?
The small ones.
Just small ones.
Yeah, not big.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. You can't really prepare. You just, wherever you are, just don't try not to, you try not to panic. But I didn't even know. I got in the hallway. I didn't even know if that was the right fucking thing. It stopped. It was like 45 seconds.
The hallway thing, I think, is a myth, actually. They say stand under a door, right under a door.
Yeah. We got a new baby at the house. My daughter had a baby. So last night, the other day, they had a little earthquake. But maybe I wasn't sitting where they all felt it. So everybody in the house goes, "Did you feel it? Did you feel it?" And I was like, "I don't feel it."
Right.
I go, "I don't feel it," and I was like, it depends where you are, and they were like, well, the baby's in the carriage, my daughter, the baby, and it's like, we're parents now, and I was like, well, no, there's nothing here, nothing's gonna fall. If this house survived the Northridge, it's not gonna come down on,
Right.
But anyway.
Actually, I was in a McDonald's. There was a pretty bad one like 4 or 5 months ago, and I was sitting in a McDonald's. And all of a sudden, I felt like I was on a wave. And then I just saw all the McDonald's workers line up and leave the building. And I was like, I think I'll follow. Like, I'm trusting you more than me, So that was kind of scary.
Where were you raised, Jeff?
Mailpack, New York. It's Putnam County. It's like just north of Westchester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just
it's like near Mount Kisco, Brewster, Peekskill.
Yeah, Brewster.
Carmel.
I knew some. I went to school up in. Well, I didn't go for long. My brother went for New Paltz.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember Brewster. There was a crazy kid. There was a crazy fucking kid, I think, from Brewster. I didn't even stay a semester. But it's a funny story.
Is it New Paltz?
This was at New Paltz. I didn't even stay for a semester. But when I was on NYPD Blue, some kid, I guess, that lived in it was like a dormitory. It was like a suite with, several rooms. I don't even think I knew this kid that well. People are nuts. Years later, I guess maybe the kid saw that I was on TV or some shit. He was in L.A. I had just moved into a house, my first house. I just had a baby with my new wife. And then, all of a sudden, I don't know, my wife calls me and says, some guy came over today.
Oh.
This guy was from Brewster. He says, he knew you. I said, what do you mean he came over? So how did he find out where we live? He was like, from the internet. From the internet?
That's weird.
I was like, that's fucking weird. I said, how'd he get in the house? Well, he walked in behind my mother-in-law.
Whoa.
And then he followed her into like this room we had done to built the house up bigger. And I was like, what? Yeah, they go, I thought he was one of you. We thought he was somebody you grew up with. I said, he just walked in the fucking house? Left all kinds of gifts and this, and he was a fucking wacko. I said, I think I know who this guy was, but I'm like,
did you call police or no?
I did. I reached out to the cop on the show. It was this guy, Bill Clark, who was a famous detective in New York, and he said, he checked him out for me. And he said, yeah, the guy's got a screw missing, but he's not dangerous. Then he came back once again. I said, don't let him in, whoever he is. I don't know this kid. I mean, if you want to reach out to somebody, we didn't really have a real relationship. You don't just show up that way.
Yeah.
Something not right with that guy. But
I feel like one thing that I was talking to my wife about this the other day. It wouldn't happen to me 1/100th of the level it's happened to you, but I do feel like when you start like appearing on things, right? Or you start like having some success, or like I just had like this just happened like just a little, please. Yeah.
Sure.
My one of my books was just picked up by the Showtime. I wrote a book about the Lakers, and HBO is turning into, and like
congrats.
Thank you. And all, but I didn't do anything. I just wrote the book. But like all of a sudden, like people like it's almost like people want to be your friend just to say that they're your friend.
They're your friend.
And I'm like a nobody. I'm just a freaking writer. But you see, like people like they like. I just think like the guy from Brewster probably just really liked the idea of like.
Yeah, that I knew this guy.
Yeah, he was on TV and blah blah blah.
I was just newly on TV.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was around forever.
Some guy who made it, Oh.
Wow, look at that. Holy shit, that's crazy.
Do you like New Yankee Stadium or hate New Yankee Stadium?
I don't like it. I kind of hated it. Now I'm like forcing myself to like it. I'm trying to convince myself what I like about it. Well, the food is great. The comfort is nice. Yeah. But I missed the other place. There was just something there.
Yeah, totally. I miss Shea Stadium. I freaking love Shea.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, I love Shea.
Like, even though Shea was kind of a dump, I think the Mets did a better job with Citi Field.
They definitely did.
I actually miss Shea because Shea kind of represented the Mets.
I always say that the peeling paint.
Yes.
Kind of crappy.
There's just something, and
like,
I'm a Queens guy. Yeah. I really should have been like a Met fan. I became a Yankee fan by accident. So I really should have been a Met fan.
Who's your all-time favorite Met?
My all-time favorite Met? It's funny. I'll probably say, who I liked as a kid?
If you say Seaver, that's a very boring answer.
Nah, I'm going to say Cleon Jones.
Oh, yeah. Hit 340 one year.
Yeah. I actually like Cleon Jones. First game I ever went to, I think, was in '72. I think it was a Met game. There was something charming about the Mets. There still is. Mm-hmm. I don't despise them. But I became such a diehard Yankee fan that you're fighting off these Met fans, and it was kind of like a lot of rowdy Irish guys that always liked the Mets. Yeah. And so in my heart of hearts, I have some affection for them. But, you got to pick a side. You can't be like, if you're a diehard fan, I think you got to pick a side. My brother doesn't agree with that. But
really?
But that's him.
He's a Yankee fan.
He's a New York fan.
Oh.
I'm a diehard Yankee fan, so he looks at things a little differently than me. But I think you got to pick a side. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
I do. Like I grew up a diehard Jet fan. Mm-hmm. You can't root for the Giants if you're a Jet fan. Like right. You don't have to hate them. Like I don't have to. When the Giants are playing, my wife is a Giant fan and my kid is a Giant fan.
Right.
I do not root against the Giants when they're playing. Like it's not like I actively hate the Giants.
Right.
But I'm certainly not. You can't be a fan of both teams.
Right. You can't.
It's not allowed by.
No, it's not allowed. Like I have a thing lately where all these fans give me a lot of hard time with now. Just fucking social media and all this crap. Is wearing jerseys. I collect a lot of jerseys from all teams. I even have some Met jerseys. I have a Strawberry jersey. I have a Carter jersey. I don't go around wearing them all the time, but I have a lot of Oakland A's jerseys because I liked the Oakland A's somewhat in the 70s because I was a 70s kid, and they reminded me of like the Village People. They were
of course.
Mustaches. They're like wild.
Joe
Rudy and Gene Tennis.
Yeah.
So I have affection for that uniform. Mm-hmm. And I just love it. And all these people are telling me, he's a traitor, this, that. These people, they're trolls or whatever. I'm like, they're all assholes. I'm like, you're talking to the wrong guy. I'm no bandwagon fan. I never have been. I never will be. Yeah. But that doesn't make you less loyal because you put on a jersey for fun or some shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wish you could clarify it to these people out there because it's like, it's so moronic. They're like, some of these people. The real smart, the real people know. They're like, Nick, don't listen to it. But, it's...
Also, wearing a Strawberry Mets jersey, just as an example, doesn't mean you like the Mets. It's almost like representative of an era.
Yeah.
Like you're representing the era.
Yeah, I just love jerseys. Yeah. I have a closet full. You could see it. Mm-hmm. It's not like, maybe the only jersey I wouldn't put on is probably the Red Sox. Mm. Just like it's almost...
You never had one?
I never had one. I've had some maybe Red Sox hats that I gave away because I collect hats too, but I've never had one. I've taken a lot of flack for a couple of Houston Astro jerseys I've had, but I always I always liked the old orange. I always liked the old Astro jerseys.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed what I hear with all this other crap, but some people are like, he's really an Astros fan. I'm like, you people are fucked up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not far from the truth, the Astros fan. It's just something I like to do.
So my podcast is, I have a writing podcast, and it's sponsored by this company that makes throwback jerseys. So I don't even take money from them. They just give my kid. So my son is in 8th grade, and he has worn a jersey to school every day for a year and a half.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, every day, a year and a half. So a lot of the jerseys come from, and they do like throwback ABA, throwback USFL. So
What's the name of the company?
it's called 503 Sports. Is really good.
And they make throwback jerseys?
Yeah, they made, like, I just ordered him a World Be Free San Diego Clippers jersey.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're really good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. So
World Be Free. My God, that's right. He played for the Clippers, and
then the
I remember I
Cavs.
had his Sixer jersey, and I
Yeah.
gave it to somebody because it was too big on me.
Yeah.
World Be Free.
Yeah.
So this company, like, do you wear throwback jerseys?
I used to be a jersey guy big time.
So what happened?
When I started working at Sports Illustrated,
Yeah.
you're covering a game. So my roommate, when I was started at Sports Illustrated, my roommate was a guy named Russ Bankson who wrote for Slam magazine. Remember Slam, the basketball magazine? And they used to wear jerseys everywhere. They would go cover games in jerseys because it was a very hip hop oriented website. So I'd be leaving to cover Major League Baseball at Sports Illustrated, and I'd be wearing like a tie and a dress shirt, and he'd be wearing a throwback Dr. J jersey. And I always had envy, but I thought just was kind of frowned upon, But my son, I'm on eBay all the time getting him jerseys.
Oh, I was addicted to eBay.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
Well-
When I was living in Tarzana, that's when I started collecting a lot. Sometimes the size will say large, right? And then it will come in as a kid large.
Oh, fun.
Like I got this one Yankee jacket at home. It's satin. It just says Yankees. It's gorgeous. And the company that made it, they were very big. But I don't think they exist anymore. They were making a lot of Rangers stuff. They were making Knicks stuff. They made Brooklyn Dodgers stuff. It's not Ebbets Field. It's this other company.
It's not the one that was in Madison Square Garden, Cosby's.
It's not Cosby's, but it's like the brother and sister of Cosby's.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I can't think of the name now. I'll tell you later. But it was a great brand, and But now I buy a lot of stuff like starter jackets, the old chalk jackets.
Yeah.
I have a lot of jerseys, a lot of jackets. I mean, they're not signed, a lot of them, but I just love it. It's like when I was a kid. Like I bought these helmets from my mother's basement.
These are from when you were a kid?
Yeah, like the old Pittsburgh
Yeah,
Pirates.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's like $1.50.
So when you see the Pirates helmet, just like that,
Yeah.
I have a player who immediately enters my head, but it's not who you would think. Who do you think of when you see that helmet?
Oh, when you see the helmet, like Willie Stargell?
See, I think of Ed Ott.
That's
Remember
okay.
Ed Ott? Because
Yeah.
he was a catcher, so he
Yeah.
actually wore the helmet. He never wore a baseball
That's
cap.
great, Ed Hart. Then you think of Ed Hart. Or how about somebody like Gene Klein's? Somebody like that. Remember Gene Klein's?
So Gene Klein's I only knew of because he was a coach with the Giants when I was covering Major League Baseball, but I don't remember him as a player. He was on Dusty Baker's staff.
Oh,
with the Giants.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, like
because-
every helmet here, like I'm not kidding. I go John Stearns, I go Ed Ott, I go Rick Cerrone, I go Gene Tennis, and then Baltimore I probably go Elrod Hendricks.
Wow.
You know,
so,
like
so
just-
you got like 3 80s and
Yeah, a couple of 70s.
and a couple of 70s.
Yeah.
L. Ron Hendricks for the Orioles?
I know he was a Yankee also. but
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Mark Belanger?
Love Mark Belanger.
There's a name.
He forgotten shortstop.
Yeah.
He always hit like 221.
I know,
Yeah.
but he could feel like him and Bud Harrelson were like fantastic with the glove.
Yeah.
But both of them were like punch and Judy hitters,
Don't you miss that? See, I mean, the two things that were kind of glorious back in the day, 220 hitting shortstop. Rafael Santana, when the Mets won the World Series in '86, I think he hit 221. He was a terrible hitter. And also like how every NBA team used to have one big white goon on the bench because they were afraid of running off the fans if they were fielding an all African-American lineup, which was obviously awful. But like, we used to just like laugh at the big goons, Ooh Blob and Bill Wennington and just like, so goons and 220 hitters are byproduct, lost things from the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
How about when the Yankees played at Shea Stadium?
See, I was a
Remember
little
those
young
years?
for that.
Oh, you're a little young.
Yeah, but I know
So I
of it.
became a Yankee fan in '73.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love with them, fell in love with the stadium. And then all of a sudden, Steinbrenner had bought the team. No one knew much about him. I didn't know much about baseball. Yankees were closing. So I had to only see that place 1 year. and then the Yankees played at Shea.
Was that weird?
It was very weird.
Yeah.
It was very weird. But, I love seeing highlights of it. I don't know why, because in 74 and 75, I fell more and more in love with them. And they had some promising years those years. And then
Was that Bobby Bonds? Was he on the Yankees?
Bobby Bonds came in 75 for Bobby Mercer.
Yeah.
Straight up. And I loved Bobby Mercer.
Yeah.
He was like next to Munson. He was my favorite. Then I loved Bobby Bonds. I don't know. I just loved him.
Yeah.
Something about him, but he got hurt that year. He never kind of hit in the clutch. He had like 30 home runs, but they weren't like, home runs that mattered a lot. But there was something about him, the way he.
He and Willie Mays. So I wrote Barry Bonds' biography.
I just recently researched you on that. I didn't really. I was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
obsessed.
nobody bought it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that
Yeah,
you wrote a
nobody
book
bought
about
that.
Bonds.
I have 2 books that sold terribly.
Is that about Bonds and Clemens or just Bonds?
No, so I wrote a Clemens book and I wrote a Bonds book.
Okay.
And those are my 2 worst sellers by far.
So they didn't do well?
I kind of learned, especially with Clemens, like people don't want to drop $30 on someone they abhor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's not. People don't like him
they don't like him.
for a lot of reasons.
They don't like him. And Bonds is far more unlikable than Clemens.
Bonds.
Bonds is the least likable athlete I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, then, when you wrote the Bonds book, how did you do the research? I mean, like,
Well, I interviewed probably 500 people. I went up to Bonds. Bonds was a nightmare to deal with, like the worst of all time.
was he on board with it?
He was not. He wouldn't help me. So, all right, what happened is I was covering baseball for Sports Illustrated at that time.
You started out covering baseball.
I started out as a food and fashion writer at the Nashville Tennessean. That was my first job out of college.
Food and fashion?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Neither topic is an expertise, but it was the only opening they had. So I did that. Then I was a fashion writer. Yeah, fashion writer. Then I was a music writer, and then I was a high school wrestling writer, and then I got hired at Sports Illustrated, and then I moved up and started covering baseball.
Yeah, and you were a baseball fan, right? I mean,
I was.
You loved baseball.
I was.
Is that your number one sport?
Yeah, I would say so. As a
Probably.
kid.
It seems like it.
Yeah, and like
Basketball
there was a lot
second?
No, at the time it would have been baseball, football, basketball. Now it might be just as far as watching basketball, baseball, football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
My kids don't have the pay. We go to a lot of Angels games because you get
It's
tickets for $8,
Yeah.
and we just sit and talk, and we usually leave by the 7th.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the stadium isn't that special.
And they're a very boring team.
Yeah, they're just boring.
Which is ridiculous because they have the best player on the planet
I
on
know,
their team.
but they need to do something. Bring back that old uniform.
We always talk about this. They need new uniforms.
That old Angel uniform with the halo was great.
Great.
I don't know when Disneyland took over that atrocious uniform. Remember that one?
Oh, of
That
course.
was terrible.
Yeah.
Now it's just bland.
It's just boring.
It's
and
just-
have
I
you
hate
been there? Have you gone to a game there?
I go to when the Yankees are there, I'm always there.
The food is terrible. The stadium's
Awful.
terrible.
Terrible stadium.
This is a bad stadium.
Yeah, why don't they just gut it and build something nice?
Wow, the county has Orange County is making a ton of money off of that stadium.
It's a shitty stadium.
It's a terrible stadium.
I mean,
it's
the
the
field
worst
is
in
nice.
baseball.
The field is nice.
Yeah, but it's a worse stadium.
But
in
it has
baseball.
no atmosphere.
Yeah, actually, Tampa's the worst stadium in baseball, but that's a sad.
Oh, you've been there?
Oh yeah, it's the worst.
It's terrible. Huh?
Terrible. You should go just to experience the awfulness.
Yeah. Probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dan Lovey. So, all right. So fashion, music,
Then
and then what else?
I covered high school,
High school wrestling.
and then I got hired at Sports Illustrated.
And Sports Illustrated. And then you segued into baseball.
Well, I was a baseball. I got hired at SI as like a fact checker,
Okay.
which is like an entry level. And then I started covering baseball, and I was basically Tom Verducci's backup. Like Verducci was the big baseball writer.
He was
steroids.
the guy, right?
He's the best.
Yeah.
And I was like the number
You
two.
friends with him?
We're not. There's nothing negative. I wouldn't say friends. We were like very positive colleagues.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's great.
He's great at what he does.
He is the best. The
At what?
best. He's the best baseball writer I've
At
ever
covering
seen.
baseball.
He is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's at another level. you
He
know?
is.
Yeah.
Why? Just, I mean, what do you,
He's
why?
a great writer.
Right.
All right, so he has things that I don't have. Like his passion for the game far exceeds
How's the
mine.
pizza?
It's good, actually.
It's not bad, right?
I think it's good.
Yeah, it's not
His
Dan, did you want one?
Dan, you want a piece?
Yeah.
He just knows more about baseball than I do. He's a better writer than I am, and he's a faster writer than I am. He's just better, and like
Right.
I was at SI covering baseball for about 5 years, and I got beaten up on it. Verducci's been there now for 30, and he still writes with the same
Same passion.
zest that he used to.
Right.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He loves it.
He just does. He's great.
Yeah, and he's great at it.
Yeah, he is great. My thing at SI was I wrote the John Rocker story, and
so
that's
you-
what kind of set me off.
Oh, so that made a name with that article?
I would say so. Yeah, because I was kind of like I was the backup baseball writer. I
Right.
was I was the Alvaro Espinoza of baseball writing at Sports Illustrated. Like, I was okay, but I wasn't going to get you that much.
Really?
Yeah, and then I wrote that story. I was the Billy Sample.
Billy Sample.
I was the Billy Sample. That was like your fourth outfielder.
Isn't that the guy Martin didn't like? Or did Martin like him?
You know, like Billy Sample?
I'm not sure if Martin liked him.
Well, he didn't like Ed Whitson.
No, there were a few guys he didn't like.
Yeah.
He didn't like Elliot Maddox or something.
You know why my family always liked Elliot Maddox?
I liked him.
Do you know why we liked him?
Why?
Because he was Jewish.
He's Jewish?
Yep.
He's a black Jewish guy.
Yeah. Everyone loved Elliot Maddox in my synagogue. Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
There's a few of them, right?
Rod Carew, not Jewish.
Not he's not Jewish?
No, even though the Adam Sandler song says he's Jewish,
Oh.
he is not Jewish. His wife was Jewish and he used to wear a tie.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So he married a Jewish girl.
Married a Jewish woman.
But he's
and
not Jewish.
Not a Jew.
Wow.
So the line is O.J. Simpson, not a Jew, but guess who is? Hall of Famer Rod Carew. And then he says he converted, but he did not convert.
But he didn't.
Sandler was incorrect.
Well, he's wrong about that.
Yeah. If you ever get, oh
If I
yeah,
ever run into him.
you got to talk to him about that.
Yeah, if I ever see him, I'll have to bring that up.
Yeah.
I'll tell him.
Yeah.
Another Jewish guy confirmed you
Yeah.
were wrong,
Not who.
Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So the Rocca story, how'd that turn out? Pretty good?
I mean,
A great article?
craziest experience of my life, journalistically. Remember him?
Oh, of course.
He was just a,
Was he an asshole? Or
He was terrible.
Or was he just a...
no, he's a dick. He's the worst
Yeah,
guy
he
ever.
was a real
It's
dick.
horrible. I have a holy trinity of three.
Have they done a 30 for 30 on him?
So here's the amazing thing. This is amazing.
Because he's an interesting dude, Rocca.
This was the article came out was the last issue of 1999, Sports Illustrated. So it was the 20th anniversary just passed. And I always thought, that was a fascinating time period. Like a ridiculously fascinating. I was like a nobody writer. He was a pitcher. Verducci was working on something else. They said, write a story. This is during the 99 NLCS between the Braves and the Mets. And
They just gave you the assignment?
yeah, they said, do a profile of this guy, John Rocker, who's just having a really good year. And he was kind of an ass, but nobody knew that much about him. So I was at the playoffs, and I would interview him where I could. But it's hard during the playoffs because there's a media swarm. So you can't get that much time. So I ended up getting like probably 20 minutes total with him. I called his parents. I interviewed some teammates. It's funny, though. Like I interviewed like Kerry Lightenberg. Remember Kerry Lightenberg, the pitcher? And I was like, John, so what do you think of Rocker? And I always remember like guys were like, yeah, he's all right. He's good. You know, good. Yeah, good. You know, so I wrote this story because I had to turn it around quick, right? And I wrote a story of John Rocker, and it ended with John Rocker. It was a very positive story because I didn't have time to dig into him to see who he was. And it ended with John Rocker carrying his dying dog up the steps of his house with tears streaming down his cheeks. That's how the original story ended. It was like this, he's the misunderstood guy.
Okay.
Because I was a young journalist and I didn't realize like one of the worst mistakes you can make in journalism is go into a story knowing what you're going to write already. And I knew it was going to be John Rocker. He's not what you think he is. So that story so then the Yankees sweep the Braves in the World
99.
Series. Yeah, 99 series.
Yeah.
So the story never ran because the Braves were out too quick. So my editor says, why don't you go back down to Atlanta and freshen up the story? So I called John Rocker's agent, and his agent was Joe Sambito, former Houston
Pitcher.
Astro. I know you're an Astro fan.
Yeah.
So,
I know Joe Sambito. He was a good reliever.
Very good.
That's his agent?
his agent was Joe Sambito.
Wow.
And Sambito's like, I was like, yeah, I want to come down, and they want me to freshen up the story. And he's like, oh, you're going to love John. Come on down. That'd be great. And I fly down, and he picks me up on the side of the road. And we're driving down a road, and we're heading toward a toll booth. It's a true story. Heading toward a toll booth. We get to the toll booth, and it's like a change catcher. Mm-hmm. So he throws in his 50 cents, and the thing doesn't rise.
Right.
Throws in another quarter, thing doesn't rise. Guy behind him honks. Rocker rolls down the window, gives him a finger, goes, fuck you. He finally gets it to open, and he spits on the toll booth. He like hucks back a loogie and spits on the toll booth. Then we're driving, and there's a car in front of us that's going really slow. And Rocker, that's when he goes, fucking Asian women, they don't fucking know how to drive, blah, blah, blah. And we drive past the car, and it's a white guy in the car, driving the car.
Fucking Asian women?
Yeah. And he was just a vile, and the whole day.
Real hateful guy.
Real ignorant guy.
Or ignorant.
And also, like we went to a school he went to speak to a school he took me along to go to a school for disadvantaged kids in like the suburbs of Atlanta. And we get there. And they used to play the song I Wanna Rock by Twisted Sister when he would come into a game. You remember that song?
Yeah.
I Wanna Rock. So at the school, they play this song. And he does great, and the kids go crazy. And as we're leaving, he takes the CD, the Twisted Sister CD, palms it, and walks out with it. So he actually stole the CD that they used at this little podunk school.
He just took it.
Just took it.
Yeah.
He was just a bad, all day, nonstop. Bad
He's
guy.
just like, he had a criminal mentality to him, too, in a way.
He also
right?
he used PED. He was juiced out the gills.
Oh,
and
right.
Oh, yeah.
He was juicing heavy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he a hillbilly? Is he like from the
He's
South?
from Macon.
Georgia?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was always something about him that was like, polarizing.
Yeah, very much so.
But I was, he didn't last a long time. Then I think he went over to the American League.
Yeah, he went to the pitch for the Rangers.
Rangers.
He actually 1 year, which I love, he had an ERA of 6.66. He did, I swear to God. He had 6.66 ERA with the Rangers. Pitched for the Indians. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, when he first came up, he was a badass.
Yeah.
You're thinking like he's maybe the next Al Raboski or something,
Yeah.
or, something like that. Intimidating kind of guy, forceful guy.
Yeah, very. He was good. I mean,
He
no
had
doubt about it.
electric stuff, but
did.
I mean, he threw hard, but I don't know if he had anything.
It's slider fastball. It wasn't like.
Yeah, but he didn't have a long shelf, like
Because you know what it is like. I don't know if you see this in your world, right? At some point, you have to find humility.
Right.
Like at some point, it doesn't last. Like you cannot think you were great for that long.
Right.
You have to be humble. I just think you have to be
Yeah,
humble.
I think at some point you have to have something human about you, and those are the guys that I think, because you get exposed one way or another. People find out about who you are, and even if you did some things wrong, but if you're still like a real guy, people will forgive you.
Sure. But also, we're all replaceable. That's the
Yeah.
other thing. There is some other guy who
You
throws
look at a
98.
guy like everybody's celebrating Jeter now, and I love him, but he's loved for a lot of reasons. And he's not even loved for that. He's the greatest player ever. It's the whole package with him.
Right.
The way I'm not saying that he's fucking perfect by any means, but he was such a good guy with everybody.
Were you mad that he didn't get the 100%, or do you not care?
No, I don't care. I don't really care about that. I think the Hall of Fame is kind of watered down now anyway.
Who's the most egregious? All right, like obviously, who's the most egregious didn't get in unanimously in your lifetime? Like who's the guy you think like obviously no one could vote against that guy? It's ridiculous.
Well, I don't know how you could vote against Willie Mays. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, how could you vote against him?
Oh.
I don't understand. When you see, for me, like a Hall of Fame is a guy that you watch and you go, he's an all-time great. He's really for a lot of reasons. And, you just like Russo's been going crazy about Jeff Kent, how he should be in the Hall of Fame. And
I actually think he should.
I think he really should be. I mean, I don't understand why they don't give this guy any love. For a second
Well,
baseman.
he was an asshole.
He's probably a jerk.
He was a jerk. He was very hard. That Giants clubhouse with Bond and Kent was the worst.
Yeah, and he might have been maybe not a nice guy, but that doesn't mean you keep him out of the Hall of Fame because of that.
I agree. 100%.
You know what I mean? I don't fucking get that. Like, what do you think about the Juice era? I mean, how do you look at that era? It's like it's so, it happened.
Yeah.
I think you put an asterisk next to these numbers. You don't, but maybe you could put them in the ones that you think were Hall of Famers, but say, hey, on the plaque that this guy is a known whatever, but we still believe that he was a Hall of Fame talent. I mean, do you celebrate those guys at all or not?
All right, so this is my argument. You're going to disagree with me.
You don't vote for it, do you?
I do not.
Yeah.
You have to be 10 years.
How do you get to vote?
You have to cover baseball for 10 years. It used to be at a daily newspaper for 10 years.
Oh, you didn't have 10 years?
I did not. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was never a beat reporter at a daily newspaper.
Right.
Not for high school wrestling beat reporter. I just think like, I always think about that. I'll tell you two things real quick. So I have two kids. I'm like, you always talk to your kids about.
How old are the kids?
My daughter's 16 and my son is 13.
Oh, so now they're, yeah.
Yeah. So they're hitting their stride. And like, we've talked about a million times, like, be honest, don't cheat. If you do something wrong, just admit it, blah, 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 right?
Right.
Integrity. We truly, like, preach it, like a lot of parents do. And I just struggle with the idea that, like, I know Barry Bonds cheated. I know for a fact Barry Bonds cheated. We know for a fact Mark McGwire cheated.
Right.
We know Sammy Sosa cheated. I have a friend who caught for a long time in the majors. Like, do you remember Sal Fasano?
Yeah, I remember Sal Fasano.
Sal Fasano is one of the best guys I've ever met, right? And we've talked about it off, just as friends, right? He said he never used PEDs, didn't want to use, right? Toward the end of his career, he was hanging on and hanging on and hanging on because he had a son who was born with a heart defect, and he wanted the major league health care, the policy he would get if he was in the major leagues. And I remember when the Mitchell report came out, and there were like 10 catchers like Sal Fasano, Todd Pratt, Gary Myers, those type of guys,
Yeah.
who had used. And like, Sal Fasano didn't use because he just didn't feel right about it. I'm like, he's busting his ass to get Major League healthcare, and you're fucking cheating. Like, you're cheating, and this guy's not cheating, and he knows he's not cheating, and you know you're cheating. No matter what you say, you know you're cheating.
Right.
I'm like, it just strikes me as wrong.
Right.
It just seemed wrong. And I do not want to reward someone or give someone a standing ovation at the Hall of Fame or give him a plaque.
Right.
For like Hank Aaron, right? The shit that guy took when he
Right.
was approaching Babe Ruth's record. You know, the absolute shit that guy took. And Barry Bonds comes along. He lies repeatedly about not cheating. He breaks the record. Like, those records used to mean something.
It meant something.
Do you know Barry Bonds' all-time home run record?
How many does he
Yeah.
have? Because I'm a nut, I think it's like 763 or something like that.
See, I thought it was 762, but that's a
Okay.
crazy thing, right? A guy who covered baseball during that era, a guy who's a diehard baseball fan, what used to be the most important record in all of sports,
Well, I
we
mean,
don't
wait.
even know the answer.
No, but 714 was the number.
Yeah. But then 755 was the number. I'm just saying, like, 755 was like a number we knew.
Yeah.
And
But
now,
I think in any baseball purist, knowing that, those guys cheated, their numbers are inflated.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at skinny Barry Bonds, I don't know for how many years, look at it, maybe 10 years, maybe. You did the book on
Mm-hmm.
him. So what did he average for like 10 years, skinny Barry Bonds? Maybe what, 30, 35 home runs a year?
he was probably around 30
Around 30?
and maybe 105 RBIs. And he was
It's-
great. Bonds was
No, he's great.
And he was
he
fast.
might have even been better than, arguably, he might have
Well, he
been
did
better
more.
than Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh.
He might have been. I mean, I don't know. They're close.
That's close.
It's close. That's a good debate to have. I mean, I don't know, but he would have been somewhere in the probably without drugs in between the 500-600 probably career home runs. I
Yeah.
think
He would have
right?
been one of the greats.
He would have been one of the greats.
Right. Not the greatest.
Not the greatest,
But we'd be like,
So
Barry
what?
Bonds was one of the 20 greatest outfielders. of
Yeah,
all time.
he would have been up there. Him and Griffey Jr. were. I mean, he fell off the map too when they left the Kingdome, and
Yeah.
he was crying about the ballpark. But no one's ever suspected much about him. What do you know about him? Anything?
Griffey?
Yeah, have you
I
heard?
used to love Griffey.
I mean, I liked him. He gave me a bat one time.
Oh, did he?
I threw out a first pitch at the Kingdome.
His dad was my favorite player growing up,
Oh, Ken Griffey Jr., Senior?
by far.
Loved him.
Loved Ken Griffey Jr.
Wow.
Like, loved Ken
I was a
Griffey Jr.
Yankee for a couple of years.
That's when I loved him.
Yeah.
Loved Ken Griffey. I could tell you,
He made that great catch.
oh, against the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Great catch.
That was my guy. Like, I knew he wore number 6 his first year.
Yeah.
Then he switched to number 30.
30?
No, he switched to number 33. He wore number 30 in Cincinnati. He wore 30 with the Yankees. He couldn't wear 30.
30 with the Yankees.
Yeah, he wore 30 with the Yankees.
In Cincinnati, he wore 6, right?
Wait, did he wear? Oh, no, he wore 30 in Cincinnati.
No.
Yes, because Ken Jr. took his number in Cincinnati. Yeah, Griffey Sr. was 30.
Oh, he wore 30. Why
Yeah.
am I thinking 6?
Because he wore 6 with the Yankees that first year. Because Randolph was 30.
Right. Right.
Why do I know this stuff?
But that's very good.
That's pathetic.
Wow.
I can't find my keys.
You actually got one up on me because number 6. I always thought about number 6. Was
Who do you
Roy,
think of? Roy White?
Roy White.
Right.
I never think of Joe Torre.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you like that? Do you do this?
Oh, I go like if I did a show one time like who wore it best. If you say a number,
Oh.
and you think about that number on that team, like 14 on the Mets. Who do you think?
Who do I think? 14 on the Mets?
Yeah, I mean, like I think there's a famous guy in the Mets that wore 14.
Is it not Kuzma?
Manager.
Oh, it was Gil Hodges?
Yeah, I think so. Am I right? Like
it better?
32. Who do you think 32 on the Mets?
Is it Kuzman?
Matlack.
Ah, see, now I'm bad. But that's a little before my
But I
era.
go-
Now, if you go 86, if we go 86 and beyond,
86, yeah.
like when I think 15, I always think George Foster. Obviously, you could go up the right. You can go up the ladder, right?
Yeah,
So the
you
Mets
can go
up the ladder. Number one, you go.
Oh, what do you mean on the Mets?
Yeah.
What was it Casey Stengler?
Well, I go Mookie.
Oh, okay. Did Casey wear one?
I think he did.
Okay.
But Mookie would
But
be
Mookie would be your era. Yeah.
Mookie would be my number one.
I even think number 1, Bobby Mercer, and then Billy
Did Mercer
Martin.
wear number one?
He did. He did wear number 1. When he came back, I think he wore 20 or something.
Do you do this? If you have to remember a combination of numbers?
Yes,
will
I
you be-
think of baseball players.
You do?
Yeah.
I do too. I mix in football too.
Like
I'll-
17. Like there's 2 great Yankees that
Mickey
wore 17.
Rivers?
And Oscar Gamble.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So that way those numbers are like.
So if I say like 24, no, not 24 because you'd say Mays. Like if I said like 18, what would you say?
Well, I'd say Didi Gregorius because he's really put 18 on the map for the Yankees.
See, I would go Claudel Washington.
Oh, wow. I was
I'm a
even going to go
loser.
to Omar Moreno. I think he wore 18.
Oh, traded for who?
Oh, God.
They got rid of, who did they get? They got Omar Moreno from Houston for who?
They got him from Houston, not
Yeah.
Pittsburgh?
No, they got him from Houston.
And who did they give up
Yeah.
to Houston? Yeah, you stumped me on that one.
Jerry
They got rid of Jerry Mumphrey, fan?
Yeah, for Omar
Who came
Moreno.
from the Padres.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Nice job.
You're missing a winner as number 18, Johnny Damon.
Yeah, but he's a
Oh.
high guy. My son, Nick. That's Jeff.
How's it going?
up,
Johnny
Jeff?
Damon, very nice.
Yes.
Let me
but-
tell you this. I did a story for Sports Illustrated, and I always thought they downplayed this. 1999, the Kansas City Royals outfield was Johnny Damon, Carlos Beltran, and Jermaine Dye.
Oh, my God.
That is a sick
That's
outfield.
a sick outfield.
Yeah.
So you had Damon in center, right?
No, Beltran was playing center.
Oh, okay, so Damon's playing left?
Yeah, Damon was playing left.
And Jermaine Dye's in right.
Yeah, and Dye was a great
He
player.
was a great player on Oakland.
Yeah.
He like came into it. And then I was there when he like broke his. I was at that one of those playoff games. Or it was when he hit the ball off his ankle and he busted up his ankle pretty bad on the
I don't
A's.
remember.
Yeah, he's like his career that he never came. Like he won a championship with the White Sox.
He was a World Series MVP with the White Sox.
He had some
Oh, that's
pop.
right. He did recover and
Oh, you know your stuff.
I know who Jermaine Dye is.
Yeah.
I met him once.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
yeah.
Why?
Why?
Like, how does one meet Jermaine Dye?
Yeah, how did you meet him?
We were on the field.
What field?
Whatever game we
Encino?
were at.
Where?
No, somewhere. Just
At a-
whatever
at a
field we were
game?
at. Yeah. I met Jermaine Dye.
Okay.
So what's up, man? I saw you hit a home run. It was all thanks.
I mean, I don't remember meeting him. Was
Well,
it on the White Sox or the A's? Because he played on the A's and the White Sox.
And the Braves.
White Sox.
And he started the Royals and went to the Braves.
Like I met Big Hurt before you did, technically.
Yeah, I know. You met him on the Blue Jays.
I did.
Oh,
right?
very nice.
At Dodger
Yeah.
Stadium.
So what's
That's
up?
Who's your
right.
favorite player of all time?
Hard to say. I did tell A-Rod when I met him, you were my childhood hero. But
Has he broken your heart?
no, I just was like, hey, he was.
Do you think he's good on TV?
I think he's good. Yeah, I think my dad should direct a documentary about him.
He's gotten better. He seems to like me.
You think
I
he's
don't
good
know.
on TV?
He's gotten better. He's improved.
You have to understand, he's friends with Alex.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I don't want to dog your guy then.
yeah,
Okay.
he's been very supportive of me.
All right, I respect that. I respect
Yeah, I
that.
don't know if you
Okay.
saw me on the Fox pregame this year. They brought me on. It was a pretty funny segment with Big Papi, A-Rod, and Frank Thomas. And Kevin Burkhardt was the host. And they brought me on live right before game. What was it? Game 4?
Game 4, yeah. And
Game
you
4,
predicted we'd
Houston.
win.
Yeah, and you know, Big Papi was so natural, so funny. He goes to me, tell me the truth, Nick. Did you ever boo this guy? Did you ever boo this guy? He asked me 3 times. You ever boo this guy? And I said, I mean, I was kind of brutal on him for a long
You were?
time. I said, but he won me over. And then when I said that, you know, he was like looking for love. He hugged me. And
Oh,
was
that's
like,
cool.
You know, he was like, yeah, Nick doesn't forget 2009. So I'm like, you know, listen, I don't know the real guy, you know?
Yeah, he's very guarded.
We don't, A-Rod to me in a lot of ways is very fascinating because it was like, there was that A-Rod, now there's this guy who wants to be, you know, liked by everybody and he's J-Lo and he's reinvented himself somewhat. So,
I'll tell you an A-Rod story.
but tell me,
It's not a bad one.
yeah.
But it's just who he was when I was a baseball
He's been
writer.
nice to me.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
It's
I
just,
gotta
it's
know.
just like, you know, like Mike Tyson, they asked him about Trump and he goes, he was nice to me. What can I say? You know, like Mike Tyson made that statement about Trump.
Right.
I mean,
Are you
so-
a Mariner fan?
No, he's saying
No,
I
he's a
just
Met
a hat I
fan.
have, but I
He's a
grew up
Met
I grew up. Griffey was my favorite player. So when Griffey Jr. was drafted by the Mariners, my neighbor was pitching for the Mariners, and Ken Sr. went to the Mariners.
why was Ken Sr. your favorite player?
You know how like you have stupid reasons for
Yeah.
I used to be a diehard baseball card collector, and there's this one card. It's a 1980 Topps card, and it's Ken Griffey Sr. And I grew up in a very small, sheltered, white town, Mahopac, New York, right?
Mailpack.
And I used-
I know that town. I heard of that town.
Good pizza.
Yeah.
And
Could be.
it was, you know, very few African Americans. We're in a few Jewish families, blah, blah, blah. And I was gravitated toward like cool Dominican shortstops and like African American players with lamb chops, sideburns. Like I love George Foster because I loved his sideburns, and I love Ken Griffey because I loved his afro. And there was this picture of him, Reds last year with the Reds, and he had his hat up like this, sitting on top of his afro.
Yeah.
And I just realized I would never be that cool. You know, like I could never be that cool. He just seemed cool.
Weren't the 70s the coolest looking baseball players in
Yes.
the world?
Ever.
You gotta tell him. The
true.
coolest uniforms, the coolest fucking dudes you
acts-
you wanted to be these guys.
It's true.
You don't understand.
He acts like I've never watched all these
'Cause
highlights.
showed
I know,
him
but
he's not really interested.
For 20 years, I've seen it. So like,
Do you
when I-
agree or do you disagree?
No, I agree. They were cool looking dudes. Like Reggie Jackson probably is the coolest baseball home run trot.
Fucking cool.
But do I have to be reiterated from him 1,000
You
times?
do
that this
because he is
cool?
your father. and it is-
But if I show him
Thank you,
something
Jeff.
and he doesn't
See
feel the
somebody on my side.
But if
That's what I need.
But if I show him something and he doesn't want to watch it, and
Yeah.
I don't want to watch something he wants to watch,
Not true.
Then it goes both
All right, give me an
ways.
example of something
I
you would
listen
show
to all
him.
your
Okay,
rap.
so-
I listen
so-
to all this
so
Are you a
stuff.
big hip hop fan?
Well, yeah, I make music too.
Okay.
So
So-
if I show him like like a concert and I'm trying to explain something to him in context that he'll eventually ask me 3 months later, and he walks away and goes, I don't want to hear this shit. Then when he says,
I see.
Then when he says, no, watch this thing from '77, watch Reggie. I said, dude, I've seen this for the last 20 years of my life.
Right.
So, like,
Are you 20 years old?
Yeah, I am.
So you've seen this your entire life?
Yeah,
basically.
like I have recollection of, because we had the box set of the '77 World Series. He would put the games on, and I'd watch the whole games. Like I've watched the whole series.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even care to rewatch games from this year or last year, whatever it was.
Right.
So, once I saw it, it's enough.
It was so special. You know what I mean?
I know, but it can't be special to him the same way you, because the power of nostalgia.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, like, I grew up with my father, an older brother, my brother John, guys telling me about history, about boxing, about guys times before me. And that's what always gave me the appreciation of what came before. Because, like, there was always something before you. So you should be interested in that.
It's not that there's
It's not
zero...
to say that this doesn't matter today, but there was a world before today, too.
But it's not to say that there's zero appreciation. It's just like, I've seen it 1,000 times.
Let me ask you a question. So you're 20.
Yeah.
I feel like your generation does not give a shit about baseball.
No, it just, as a whole, probably not. But as a section, which I'm part of, they do.
Right.
See, like I like baseball simply the fact because I grew up watching it, and I do enjoy going to games, and I do enjoy following the sport, and I'm just so accustomed to it.
Yeah.
But my generation doesn't care about the sport as in depth as, let's say, basketball or football for whatever reason, and that sucks. But it is what it is. But I mean, now these players are still the highest paid, so it's like I don't see where it balances. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It is interesting thing because obviously your generation cares more about baseball, and like those guys weren't even paid as well. But my generation doesn't care, and these guys are paid the highest it's ever been.
Don't you think it's interesting that the most recognized, so the most famous baseball player right now, Mike Trout? Would you say Mike Trout?
He's not the most famous.
Who's the most famous right now?
in
Kershaw?
the league?
Yeah, who?
I'd say Aaron Judge.
Okay, Aaron Judge. If you took Aaron Judge and took every NBA player, Aaron Judge would be like maybe the 23rd most famous guy in that lineup. It's so weird. Like the most famous baseball player would not be top 10 most famous if you stuck him in the NBA right now.
Well, what baseball is missing, I think, as far as like a cultural thing, like with like I guess you could say put them in pop culture, right? There's like one guy in baseball who's involved in the pop culture, which the whole world views the sport as. So like,
Who are you talking to? Which guy?
Like I'd say like Judge, because
okay.
like I don't think other people from other places know who Mike Trout is like that, but everyone knows who Aaron Judge is. The guy played 2 seasons in a row where he didn't play half the whole season, and he saw the highest selling jersey.
But my mom, if LeBron James knocked on her door, she would know it's LeBron James. If Aaron Judge knocked on her door, she would have no clue who this guy is.
Maybe. Yeah. But he's also been in the league 3 years.
Yeah,
so.
that's true.
And he's still, I think, the most popular guy. And he plays in New York.
But there is a charisma problem with baseball.
Yeah.
Don't you think there's a charisma problem?
I do.
There's also a lot of assholes who play baseball.
You're talking to a guy who covered baseball for 5 years. It's the biggest asshole sport out there. I hate to say that. It truly is.
That's what I told him. Like I played
true.
I played baseball my whole life, and then I mean, like I just didn't take it serious. And then I got to high school, and like I really saw what it was about, because that's when egos come into play. Kids think they're really good. They want to be competitive. And at one point, I was just like, all these kids are fucking assholes.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to.
Private instructors.
There's no like real camaraderie on these guys, and like everybody's really in it for themselves.
I mean, occasionally you meet a nice guy.
Sure.
Occasionally you meet a good guy in baseball.
But
there's a lot of jerks.
But like but you meet the guy, him meeting you. So like you gotta understand, if a guy likes you when you meet him, there might be reasons for that. One,
You're saying if your dad meets you.
Yes.
Right.
One, you're a celebrity. 2, you're a fan of that guy specifically, and maybe like on the surface he is a nice guy, but within the teammates, is he really a nice guy?
Right.
I actually, something you just said that come together. Like you said, Mike Tyson, you asked him about Trump, and he says he's always been good to me.
Right.
It's a horrible way of judging someone. Like I always saw, like Barry Bonds. I wrote a book on Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds gave me a very long interview when I was writing for SI. He was perfectly fine to me. But then I see him like not say thank you to the guy who opens the door, not say thank you to the guy who cleans his shoes, not tip a guy in the clubhouse properly. So like you particularly, because you are a celebrity, you're actually right. People are going to be nice to you. But then I watch the guy and I say, well, how does he treat the clubhouse guy? How does he treat the fan? How does he treat the kid? Like that's how you judge a person, I think.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right about that. There's 2 sides to the story. And I mean, but sometimes, you just personalize things when you go, well, hey, the guy was nice to me.
Of course.
The experience I had with the guy was a good one. But the rest of the world might think he's a jackass. So, I mean.
I don't really understand why baseball players have a very asshole way about them, because it's not really like a flirtatious sport at all. Like basketball to me is a way more flirtatious sport. Like you can you fucking put a three in someone's face, like you get in their face, this, that.
Maybe it's the game. Like if you think about baseball, because the talent that you need to play it, and it's so skilled. Whereas the other sports, I'm not saying there's not skill involved. There is, but there's more of a camaraderie. Well, with baseball, even though it's a team sport, it's still very individualistic in a certain way.
I actually would say, I gotta say, from the baseball players I've covered, which is the sport I've covered the most, I always thought the NBA guys were the smartest of the sports. Like the smartest. First of all, almost all of them went to at least some college, right?
Right.
They have street smarts. A lot of these guys come up from really bad upbringings, oftentimes single mother upbringings, oftentimes impoverished upbringings, and they freaking work at it, and they have a real love of it, and they have a real appreciation from where they came from to where they are. A lot of baseball players, especially now, they're guys who they're doing baseball now, especially out here in California. They're doing it 12 months of the year.
Right.
They're getting it. You see it. It's become such an Orange County game. Like Orange County is the kind of mecca of baseball. It's people who can afford their kid a $500 bat, $150 tutor for a half hour. They're playing it year round. It's their entire life whatsoever, and they have nothing outside of it.
That's
NBA guys have an appreciation of what they have. Not all. That's but I just think you see it more. NFL too, I think.
Yeah, I think they're more in touch with the real world, the sport, the fans. Baseball's out of I've been trying to break into it. People have been like, how come they don't use you or this or that? I go, I don't know, because they're so conservative, so white collar. They see a guy like me, and I'm like, I'm just a fan.
Right.
I'm not a fucking threat to your game. I'm just a fan. But you could use somebody who's knowledgeable and who would, I'd love to work in some capacity. I'm not saying that's one make my main living, but I really feel like I have something to give. But people let me do things, but yet they go, yeah, but he's a little bit crazy.
No, but it's not just that. It's your personality is not the structure of what the sport is.
Yeah, I'm not the typical what the sport should be.
If you were like, my main bread and butter is basketball, they may give you a shot considering how the sport is and what it's viewed as, where baseball is a very specific sport. There's very hick things in baseball too that
is true.
I am not a fan of. So it's weird. You see the professional level of things in the way they are. It's it's even I don't know.
Nonetheless, I love it. I'll probably love it to the day I die. I mean,
cool.
I just love the game.
I mean, I played it longer than you, so it's a little. My perspective's a little different.
He played in Encino Little League for a lot of years. I coached and
no, but also I played high school ball and I saw what that was like.
Yeah, but high school was even harder, and it wasn't much fun for you either.
Well, it's not that it's just much harder. It's just kind of it's just where do you see yourself at as a player? Do you want to take this to college, or are you still playing to play? See, that was my thing. It was just kind of like realistically, after 14 years old, I probably should have stopped playing baseball.
But isn't that pathetic?
Yeah.
Isn't that pathetic?
It is.
I've seen that now with my kid he's in 8th grade.
Is he burning out?
No, but it's there's nowhere left to go. He's a perfectly fine athlete, and that's it, right? He's just an average athlete. He's 14 years old. He has one more year of rec hoop league, and then there's nowhere. Then you're done. If you're by 14, there's nowhere for you to play anymore.
That's true.
Yeah,
that is insane.
That's your career. Your career is over.
At 14 years old, because you're not good enough to make the high school team.
I know. He was a decent player, but in high school, shit is harder. These guys are throwing, BBs. It's.
But I just want to say what you don't have that we had. I assume you had also is on a Saturday in Mail Pack, a ton of us would just grab our mitts, go to a field.
That's true.
And just play. Or pick up basketball. You just go and you play.
Right.
And I feel that is something that your generation has not had in the same way.
It's not even that it's mine necessarily. I think it's the one that's after me.
Oh.
I have cousins who are 10, 14, whatever, but we know this other kid who's 10 years old, who's our friend's son. And in his house, there's no video games, but he has a big backyard with basketball court. He can play wiffle ball, he can play football. So he's active constantly. And then I have cousins who mostly play on video games.
Yeah.
So it's for my generation, it was we were still playing outside, and also we were getting the beginning stages of what has now become the technology era. But it's worse now, I'd say.
Yeah.
But Jeff, we played on the street.
But you can't play on the street in LA.
My era, we played from pole to pole. We played touch football.
Yeah, totally.
Even in the winter. Then we had a basketball court in front of my house. My brother put up. And then we played pole-to-pole self-hit baseball. We had a place, the Waterworks, where we played in the Waterworks. We played stickball. We played the game, like you said, not only organized, but we played it for the love of it. You don't see that today.
It's also crazy how, like,
You
I was
don't
saying,
see it.
we would leave at 10 in the morning on our bikes or whatever, ride to town, and my parents just knew we'd be back around 5. Like, that's it. There's no cell phone.
Yeah.
There's no, like, you can't leave,
Yeah.
you're gone for the day. All right, see you in 9
Right.
hours, Mom.
Right.
And it's sad that those kind of things are just,
Because you had that kind of trust. You know,
Yeah.
you felt comfortable letting your kids go out. Today, it's such a crazy world. You know, with all the shit going on, it's like, the shootings, the this, the that. I mean, nothing makes sense anymore. It's really like, I feel like I lived in another world, and then there's this world today. I almost feel like, as I think back, and like you say, I remember that shit. I remember the numbers. I remember more than things that happened in my life.
Yeah.
You say a number, you say a guy, I'm there. I can't remember the last 20, 30 years.
I know,
It's just like, wow, you've been out here. How many years you out here now?
5.
5. I've been out here 20 years, whatever. It's like, I don't remember very much.
Well, it's weird how, like, I can tell you what number Claudel Washington wore with the Yankees, but I can't tell you where my keys are.
I know.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
And that's a good number, 17, right?
Yeah.
That's a very good number.
He can't.
No, I think he was 18 with the Yankees.
Oh, 18
Yeah, I
with the
think he was
Yankees.
18 with the
That's
Yankees.
right,
Yeah.
18.
You can't
Strawberry
re-
18 with the Mets.
Correct.
You can't remember to schedule
But yeah,
a
with the
time to
Yankees-
keep this.
He looked great in 39.
39.
How many guys can wear 39 and look great in 39? Not many. Strawberry looked great in 39.
What number did you wear?
Me?
Yeah.
1 or 3.
Good
But
number.
1's my favorite number.
Because of why?
Because I don't see what's the point. It's either number 1 or nothing.
Would you ever go 00?
No.
Oh, man.
I was either 1 or 3, and 3 because I am Nick the Third.
Oh.
So
Oh, I get it.
that makes sense.
That's
but
good.
Not crazy about that 00.
But I-
Who's wearing that right now? Somebody's wearing that. Somebody wearing 00?
Well, Russell Westbrook is 0.
Is it-
Ottavino doesn't wear 00. He wears
No.
just 0.
Oh, he looks weird with that 0.
Who do you
I-
consider the best number 0 in baseball history?
the best number 0?
Yeah.
But there hasn't been many guys.
No. I can only think of one. I'm sure there's more than one.
He just brought up Ottavino. I haven't seen
Oh.
anybody with that
Al
number.
Oliver.
Al Oliver. He
Yeah,
wore
we're number 0. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
With the Pirates?
Yeah, and with the Expos. I
You
don't know if he did with the
sure?
Pirates. He definitely did with the Expos. Yeah.
I thought he was like 16 with the Pirates.
He's
or
number
something.
0 with the Expos. I
Look
can
that
guarantee
up.
you. Al Oliver, Expos.
Maybe he was. With the Expos? But what is he, 16 with the Pirates?
Dan Levy
These
with the
things mean something
information
to
is
me.
coming.
They mean something to me. I
As
don't
the
know why.
listeners leave this podcast, rush for the exit.
Let's just see. I love it, 16.
Would you order vetoes today?
On the Pirates, he wore 16.
See that? Wow.
On the Expos, he wore 0.
Who was right? You?
We're both losers.
Well,
We're
wow.
both right.
Oh.
We're
both
both
right.
right. We're both right.
Oh wow.
That's pathetic.
You ever?
There's something wrong right there.
I mean,
you ever tell him when you fact checked what's his name?
oh, God. I had to interview Ron Say this summer. I went to his house. What a salty guy.
Right? Was he?
Yeah, not
The
a
Penguin?
Not a
He-
fucking
he
nice guy.
fact-checked him,
I fact checked him at a game that I was at. The Reggie game where he stuck his ass at. I was at the game.
Wait, but why were you at his house?
Well, I was covering the Yankee. I was doing stuff for the Yankee Dodger series. I was all hyped up, and we were trying to find an old Dodger, maybe Garvey, or I've met Garvey. He's been nice. I've met Lopes. I don't know Russell. Obviously, they said Ron Say said it's cool. He lives in Woodland Hills. I said, all right, cool. We'll go over his house.
Number 6?
Who Say?
Yeah.
No, that was Garvey. Yeah.
Nah, it was
Oh,
Garvey.
Garvey was 6, you're right.
Garvey was
See,
6.
I told you
Say
I
was-
watched the series.
No, Steve Sachs was 3. That was pretty good.
That's a good question. And I'm so soured on him now. I can't even
All right, so
remember.
what happened? You
his
went to his
fucking
house?
number.
We just went to his
He
house
just
and he was an asshole.
He's kind of an asshole. Wouldn't order even a glass of water. And we had a little delay. We're out now. It's 100 degrees. And anyway, we start talking about the Yankees and Dodgers and all this shit. And so then he's still pissed off about that they didn't win that series 78. I go, well, you got revenge. He
You got
goes,
81. Although he got hit in the head in that 81.
yeah.
too.
And then he goes, well, not exactly. Those are friends of my team. Friends on my team. I'm friends with some of those guys. So I don't look at it as revenge. And I was like, well, anyway, we started talking about that game, the Reggie game. And he said to me, it was a late game. It ended like 1 o'clock in the morning. And that's why we were sluggish the next day because they got bombed the next day, like 12-2. And I said, no, it didn't. He goes, what do you mean? I said, no. I said it was Saturday was a late day game. I was there. I know you played in the game, but I was there. And I said it started like 3:30. He goes, no, you're wrong. I said, no, I'm not. I said, check it. Fucking check it. I said, let's see who's right.
You were right.
I'm positive that it was even a rain delay. I remember it started like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I remember the Yankees were behind, and I was right, and he was so pissed.
Was he actually pissed?
He was like,
Yeah.
He was like talking to himself, like, I don't know how could I get that wrong?
Created a fake narrative.
Yeah,
for
like
himself.
I was like, come on, just give it up. Just say, hey, man, I guess you were right. I was wrong. I
That
mean,
actually is the tough part about writing books is you're relying on people's memories, and you really have to check because Ron State played in a shitload of baseball games.
yeah.
you know,
I
like,
mean, listen, I'm not. You could be wrong. Somebody could tell me something. Like you just told me about. What'd you tell me about? You told me about number 0.
Oliver, yeah.
Al Oliver. Like I don't remember him 0 on the Expos. Not that I remember everything in baseball, but I remember most things.
let me ask you this: who did Reggie Jackson hit the 3 home runs off of?
Oh, that's easy.
Ah, damn it! Really?
That's not
Can
even-
you do it in order?
Oh yeah,
ahead.
that's not hard. Bert Hooton, Elias Sosa, and Charlie Hough.
Yeah.
That's very easy.
All right. Sorry.
You gotta ask me a tougher one than that.
Give it-
Like, who do you hit the home run off?
Who did
the Brewers Game 5 ALCS? Like that I could
Was
name.
it Jim Slanton?
Moose Haas.
Ah, love Moose Haas.
Those are the ones I like.
He came up in our house recently. Who did the Yankees trade to get Lee Mazzilli?
Ooh, that's a good one. They made a trade with the Mets, right?
No.
No?
Nope.
Who was he on? Texas?
Yep.
Give me his initials.
Oh, it makes it easy though. He's in prime BD.
BD?
Yeah.
Wow. BD.
I feel accomplished right now at this moment. I feel pretty good.
That's pretty good. BD. He was a good player?
He was a very good Yankee. Historic Yankee.
He was a historic Yankee?
Yeah. Historic 70s Yankee.
Oh, wow. This is embarrassing. Fucking brain is. Give me the first name.
Oh, that'll end it though.
That'll end it?
Yeah.
What
I'll
is
give you a
it?
hint. He was a former White Sox.
He's a former White Sox?
Former White Sox.
Lou
traded-
Oh, Bucky Dent?
Bucky Dent.
Oh, my God. How did I forget Bucky Dent?
Yeah.
Wow.
Your man, bro.
I could remember the some trades, like in the 70s.
You know who was almost traded in 04? And he was going to be on the Red Sox, but trade didn't go through?
Yeah,
Wait,
I already
Bernie?
know that. A-Rod.
Nope.
Oh,
What are we
Bernie?
talking
He
about?
was a Yankee.
Oh, you're talking about
Not Bernie?
Nope.
Bernie almost was talking about him
He almost
signing,
signed with the free
signing
agent. Wait, in 04?
Wait a minute.
You don't know who it is?
Wait a second. What's the question again?
He was almost he almost got traded to the Red Sox from the Yankees.
From the Yankees to the Red Sox?
Yep.
From the Yankees, that they wouldn't make that trade.
He wasn't in the league yet. He wasn't in the league yet.
Oh, Mariano?
Nope.
No, because 04.
Oh, right, 04.
Robinson Cano.
Oh, Cano?
Uh-huh.
Things
Well,
you
those
don't
are-
know.
Those
good
are...
one.
But still, he was a champion, and he was one of the best second basemen. And then he fucked himself. That guy actually ruined his career leaving New York.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had a lot of talent, natural talent, and he was suspected of PEDs.
He wasn't suspected. He tested. Didn't he test
Then he
positive?
tested, finally got busted.
That guy probably was like the smoothest second baseman.
He had a
like,
beautiful swing.
ever. Like,
And now,
so
you know,
smooth.
like his career is kind of finishing. And,
It happens. It's
happens.
Probably 37, 38. It's
Yeah.
probably about time.
yeah.
Yeah, but he blew it.
But I
right?
mean,
Wait,
he-
time out. Did he really blow it? The guy made, how much did he get paid by
Okay,
Seattle?
like,
a year?
okay,
He
but-
made
He didn't
$20
blow it,
million a
but he's
year.
talking legacy-wise. He did.
He wasn't
would have
going to-
stayed in that ballpark.
Would he have been a Hall of Famer?
Yes, he would.
in that ballpark?
Not if he
Yeah.
tested positive, he wouldn't have been.
Well,
Well,
probably.
who knows if he would have been
well, who
doing it
knows?
there?
Of course. All right, hold on. I want to say something. Since two baseball fans here. This is what drives me crazy. Is it okay if I make a point?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. People will be like, Robinson Cano, he tested positive, okay? He tested positive. I'm really sorry. I'm full of regret, blah, blah, blah. He comes back, he returns. He puts up the same numbers like Nelson Cruz. I'm really sorry I tested positive. This is embarrassing. I'm going to make amends. And he comes back and he's just as good, right?
Right.
Bullshit. He's still using. There's no way. Like, performance enhancing drugs actually work for a reason. So when someone says, I really learned my lesson, I'm so sorry.
But that's what he says. That they,
Well, you know
they're
what
hiding it.
Yes, they're hiding it.
Well, you know what the saying is now. The saying is if you get caught, you didn't hire the right trainer because he's not on your cycle correctly.
Yep.
And to be straight with you, I think everybody in the MLB is on it. I think everyone in professional sports is.
Not everybody.
I think so.
Not everybody.
Well,
Not every single guy.
How physically can you stay that good 162 games a season?
I mean,
How are some fighters able to have an extreme amount of cardio and just not get tired? How is Floyd Mayweather at 42 still able to go 12 with no problem?
well, then you're telling me Sugar Ray Robinson and Max Baer back in the,
but
30s, 40s.
I'm saying without like gassing. Like, I'm thinking personally, like, some of these, everybody's on shit. There's no way people are not.
But some of it might be just legal stuff.
We have people I've met in MLB. I'm not going to mention names.
In
but
its
I know they're
heyday,
on
what do
shit.
you think? How many guys at MLB were doing it? What would you say?
When I was
percent?
covering in the
When you
90s?
were covering in the 90s, when it was rampant, what would you give it a percentage?
75%.
75% of the players
Very high.
were using.
Because they weren't testing. The union was doing everything to stand in the way of testing.
Right.
You see the guy next to you get his new. I mean, there was one guy. I won't use a name because I don't know for sure, right? But there was one guy. It might give it. He won the MVP, and the next year he signed as a free agent somewhere, and he lost. I think he reported 40 pounds lighter, right? And they said, "Why do you report 40 pounds lighter? Why do you lose all the weight?" He's like, "Oh, I decided to go on a juice diet and be healthier." You just won the MVP,
Yeah.
40 pounds heavier. Why would you change? And like what a friend of mine who's a scout has always told me is they play for the big contract. And then they get the big contract, they get off of it, they get off to a really shitty start, they panic, and they get back on it.
Right.
You know, they'll start, the first month and a half, they'll have
So
two
you
home runs.
believe even these guys that have tested, they get
Oh.
back on it?
Yes.
It's just cycling. That's all it is. Because now it's a system. So that's
They're
why,
always 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead to the test.
that's why they're saying if you get caught, your trainer didn't cycle you correctly. Because it's all a cycle you do it on. When you get on, when you get off.
The boy's wise.
Yeah.
Just by parenting the kids.
Yeah, he seems to.
Yeah. Some guys are just physical freaks.
Sure.
Like, Aaron Judge is a physical freak.
Oh, he's just a freak
And
of
so is
nature.
Giancarlo
I don't think a
Stanton.
guy like that needs to be on any
No.
juice.
But certain guys that we've met, I'm like,
But I will say to you,
he's on juice.
I'm not saying Aaron Judge is using, I'm not saying Stanton is using. I did learn from covering baseball to never be
Surprised.
never rule anyone out. I just
Yeah.
learned never rule anyone out. Because there were guys when I was covering baseball where I was like, there's no way. And later on, someone would be like, no, seriously.
When did it start? Late 80s, kind of into the
I mean, it
90s?
got huge in the early 90s, but
Yeah.
I don't know when it started. And I was at SI, so Tom Verducci did the big Ken Caminetti cover story, where Caminetti was really the first Major League Baseball player to admit what he was doing. And then that opened up a lot of sort of,
Yeah, with Caminetti.
yeah.
Well, Canseco was kind of the poster child, right?
He was, and he also admitted it
Right.
later. But he was, who I'm friends with? I'm friends with Sean Green, former Dodger, fellow Orange County resident, great
Right.
guy. And he actually has said to me repeatedly, sworn he did not use, and
I believe him.
I actually do.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, he never really changed too much physically.
No. I think you would have told me if he did use, and I wouldn't say anything.
He
I
was
just
a,
think,
a lanky guy and,
yeah,
sweet swing. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Vaughn Hayes. Remember Vaughn Hayes?
come on. Love on Hayes. What? Number 9.
Yeah. Philadelphia.
Traded for who? He was traded from
Oh, God. Was it
from Philadelphia to Cleveland for who?
He was traded from Philly to Cleveland? Or from Cleveland to Philly?
No, he was traded, from Cleveland to Philly. It's a great trade.
Oh, wow. For both teams?
Yeah, if you consider Von Hayes a good player.
Yeah, I mean, he was a good player.
He was traded for Julio Franco.
Oh, wow. Well, who
Yeah.
was a hell of a hitter?
Yeah.
Well, I remember him on the Indians.
Yeah. And he lasted till he was about 48.
Julio Franco, man, he played a long.
Remember?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that big bat. Kind of reminded me of a guy maybe before your time, Rico Cardi.
Oh, come on. Rico
yeah,
Cardi was
Rico
great.
Cardi
Yeah.
was a great hitter.
Yeah.
I mean, these are guys like he doesn't know these kind of players. He doesn't know
Tony Oliva,
Yeah,
Harmon Killebrew.
I just loved their bodies too in that era.
Yeah.
They were
Dick Allen.
Dick Allen.
smoking a
Oh
cigarette.
my God, how good was he?
Yeah, great.
Fucking Richie Allen. I mean, even when he was on the White Sox, I remember him playing
Yeah.
like double headers. Like when I first started watching the Yankees in '73,
Yeah.
I used to love double headers. I
Double
would
headers.
map out and you get the yearbook and say, oh, there's like 5 double headers we're gonna hit.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit all these double headers.
Yeah.
Twilight double header.
Then you could see Weiniger and Cerrone catch. You get a chance to see both of them go.
Butch Weiniger.
Number?
Butch Weiniger. Oh man, that's a good one.
I can't find my keys. But
Shit, man,
Yeah.
that's a good one. Is it in the 30s?
no, 27.
27. Wow, Catfish on the Yankees.
See, that was a little. I was born in 72. So I know Catfish, but I was like 5, 6. 'cause he
Catfish was
signed-
27 on the A's.
Oh, 27 on the A's. What was he on the Yankees?
29.
Very nice.
29. 28 is on the Yankees was a good number for
Don
somebody.
Guller? Was Guller?
Nah.
No.
Sparky Lyle.
Oh, Sparky Lyle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bronx Zoo, one of my favorite books of all time.
Great book.
Yeah. Huge book for me growing up.
Hey, have you read this book? I've been kind of obsessed with his story. It's a great book. Could have made us proud, Joe. Joe
No.
Pepitone.
No, I didn't read it. I know Joe
Wow.
Pepitone.
You've never read the book?
No, it's good.
Oh, it's fantastic. Me
Yeah.
and Mark Kriegel is a good friend of mine. said to say hello.
Yeah,
to you today.
love Kriegel.
Yeah, he said he
You've
likes
read Namath, right?
Yes, I have. Well, I've been trying to make a movie about his first book for years. Bless Me, Father.
Oh, yeah.
And we've come close to getting it off the ground. Maybe one day we'll make the movie.
Sure.
Have you ever thought about writing a screenplay, or just not interested to
Well,
you?
I've thought about it, but I'm just not there yet. Yeah.
So let's talk about the '86 Mets, man. That's the best. So how did that book come about?
It was my first book, and
Right.
I was at Sports Illustrated, and an agent approached me. It wasn't even my idea. Agent said, "Have you thought about writing a book?" And I said, "I don't know, maybe." And she said, "How about the '86 Mets?" I was 14 in '86. It's like I'm a big nostalgia guy, which you seem to too. Like it's the nostalgia.
Right.
So the idea of like bouncing around spring training and tracking all these guys down and talking to them and sort of was just for me magic. It was great. It's still my biggest selling book. It's still.
It's great.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know how I came to get it. I got it right there.
This looks like it's been through a few washing
Yeah,
machines.
well, it hangs out in my bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I still I read it all, but I still pick it up. It's all right. I wipe my hands. Don't worry. I shouldn't have told you that. Yeah, it's in my bathroom.
No, it's all right.
But I'm like, I love this book,
Oh,
and I mean, I just that whole time, that whole team is so. You're right. Really fascinating to the guild.
Yeah.
How many years did you, or how much time did you spend on it?
About 2 years.
2 years.
And my son's reading it now, which is a thrill.
Is he?
For me. My son's 13.
Is he loving it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he read. I wrote a Walter Payton book, and that was his first book of mine. He read, and I was reading this. It's kind of cool. You know?
How'd this book do? Did it do well?
Great. It was a bestseller, and I didn't know anything. I just read my first book, and I didn't know anything. And yeah, people just. It's weird the book hadn't been
But
done.
you were a Met fan, so
I was, but at the time I was writing.
but-
I'm not really. I don't view myself as a. Once you cover the sport,
Yeah,
you become more of an observer. A little
an
bit.
observer.
Yeah. So by the time I was a fan of that team.
Right.
Like I always loved that team. Like I love that team.
Did you get to interview everybody?
I didn't get so at the time. Gooden and Strawberry, one was in jail, and the other wasn't talking, so I didn't get them. Dykstra, who's insane,
Yeah.
was wouldn't talk to me unless I paid him and flew him to New York and put him up in a hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had to pay him, fly him there?
I didn't do it. You
Right.
can't do that.
Good.
The best guy I flew out here for Kevin Mitchell, who's the best.
Good guy?
Crazy good. I mean, he has a bullet lodged in his back from when he was a gangbanger in San Diego. He's the best. He's great though. He's great.
Wow.
Yeah, love him. Ojeda was great. Man,
Barrio.
that was a great. I mean,
That
you know what they
team.
forget about that team? I know, it's like I can geek out here, but like Hernandez, to me, Hernandez is a Hall of Famer. That's a guy he's the best fielding first baseman of all time.
I agree.
He was
I
a
agree.
ridiculously good player.
The guy's a winner.
Two
That
World
guy
Series.
did everything.
So like, I had Hernandez at first, right? Second base, he had Backman and Tuffle, two guys who could start for a lot of teams.
Right.
Santana at shortstop, not a great spot, but that's okay.
Okay.
Third base, he had Knight and Hojo.
And Hojo.
Two guys who had all-star careers. Carter behind the plate.
Right.
Your outfield was Mookie, Dykstra, Strawberry. They originally had George Foster, but they cut him midway through the year and signed Lee Mazzilli off the scrap heap. And then that rotation. I mean, it's
crazy.
Gooden,
Yeah.
Darling, Ojeda, who won 18 that year,
Fernandez.
and Rick Aguilera, who went down as one of the great closers of the era.
He was no joke
Was their
either.
fifth starter. Then they had two closers. They had Orozco and McDowell.
Yeah.
That team resist.
Oh, that was a beast, that team.
That was a beat. 108 wins.
And they were like, they were intimidating too.
Yeah.
You didn't fuck with them.
No.
They were like, I mean, I thought they were going to have a run. I mean, it was just because they were so crazy, so out of control.
Well, you know what happened is after the year, so Frank Cashman was a GM, great GM, obviously, going back to Baltimore. But I think after the year, he got freaked out about that team. And he lumped Mitchell in with Strawberry and Gooden as the young, quote, black guys on the team, right? And he got concerned. And he kind of reprimanded the wrong guy. And they traded him to San Diego for Kevin McReynolds.
That was a bad trade.
It was a terrible
trade.
McReynolds was just a numbers player.
Yeah.
He'll give you 25 and 90, but
Right.
no heart,
No.
no passion,
No soul.
nothing. Terrible fit.
Yeah.
And they just kind of lost their mojo.
Right.
You know, and
they lost their identity.
and then also it didn't help the two of your stars are on coke.
Right.
Generally not a great. Not a
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
not a
Yeah,
great.
and it was bad for both of them.
Very
right?
bad. You know, Gooden missed the parade.
Yeah.
Missed the parade.
Yeah, he
He was
missed
strung
straight.
out
My God. He actually wound up to be worse than Strawberry.
by a lot. Well, Strawberry now is like a minister in St.
Yeah.
Louis. And Gooden, this broke my heart. Gooden was one of my all-time favorite players, right? And 2 winters ago, he was working Christmas dressed as Santa at Scores, the strip club.
Really?
Making $500 to be Santa.
Oh, my God. That's sad, man. It's sad that nobody could save him.
Sometimes you have to be able to help yourself to a certain degree.
No, I know.
It's hard to help. My mom's a substance abuse counselor. She always used to say, you can't help someone who can't help himself.
Right.
And he was a guy who
You just couldn't.
like you could put a guy in treatment, in rehab, but if he's not willing to follow steps or unable
Right.
to, it's very hard to do something about it.
Yeah, if you're that much of an addict that you can't help yourself at all, there's only so much you could do.
And he always seemed really, doesn't Gooden have a certain hangdog sympathetic part to him?
He has a sweetness to him.
Yes.
Like he seemed to me like a sweet guy deep down.
I agree.
Who I don't know why he went so the other way. I don't
Too young?
I
Started
guess.
19 in the majors,
He
I think?
seemed more innocent than Strawberry.
Yeah.
Like Strawberry seemed like, he was a little more, had that street to him.
Yeah, Crenshaw. you
Yeah,
know,
Crenshaw guy and a good guy. I mean, when you met him, he always seemed like a good teammate, protected everybody. But Gooden, like you just felt like, wow.
I think he wanted to do the right thing and just couldn't. Like I think he actually wanted to do the right
Yeah.
thing and just can't.
Yeah, I mean, even when he went to the Yankees, you were hoping, he had a couple of moments, pitched the no-hitter.
Number?
11.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's a good number.
That seemed weird. It was very weird to see Gooden in the Yankees.
It was weird to see him as a Yankee.
Yeah.
I think Strawberry looked better as a Yankee
Yes.
than Gooden did.
Because he was a better player. Gooden was every time Gooden pitched,
He
it was like
looked
watching
weird.
Joe Biden talk. We were like,
Yeah.
just don't screw up. Just don't screw
I know.
up.
Joe Biden. Oh, my
Just
God.
just be okay.
I know.
Gooden as a Yankee was Joe Biden as a president.
kinda-
You're like, just
You call him Creepy Joe?
give
or
me
no?
5. No, I went to Delaware. Joe Biden went to Delaware. We have that. We're both blue hens, so
Yeah.
Common. Yeah.
He'll probably get the nom, right? Is there anybody out there?
I think it's gonna be him.
Yeah. It seems that
old.
way. Yeah. Have you been watching the impeachment?
I've been paying attention.
Yeah. I don't really. I don't talk politics.
Yeah,
here.
yeah, that's right.
So getting back to the '86 Mets, man, God, what a bunch. And then I mean they rebounded a little bit in '88, but then they couldn't get over the hump. Yeah, it was short lived, man. Really short lived.
They ruined. Well, you read it. Like my favorite moment. What I learned from this book is like, try to start a book with a bang. And I started the book with the flight back from Houston after they won the NLCS.
Yeah.
And they just destroyed that plane.
They destroyed the airplane.
Like just destroyed.
They like wrecked the whole airplane, Nick. The '86 Mets.
Like they're flying back from the NLCS.
Sounds like a fun time.
No, those guys were wild.
What was the?
You got to remember, the '80s is like
Isn't that the crack era?
that's the era.
Yeah, they were
where-
not crack though. They were just on coke.
not crack, coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, same shit.
Yeah.
Messes
But
you up.
New York
anyways.
was, New York was a wild place back then.
It was grimy.
Yeah.
Times Square.
Times Square, when I kind of miss Times Square,
With the
but
peep shows. and
yeah,
the, like,
peep
yeah.
shows, 42nd Street.
It was definitely. I can't say it was better then, but it was definitely more authentic then.
It had more. Yeah, now it's almost too clean.
What's
Yeah.
a business now?
Now it's
Yeah.
all these neighborhoods gentrified and.
There's no reason to go to Times Square if you live in New York City.
No.
Zero.
You don't feel like you're like don't go there if you're a New Yorker.
And if a friend of yours is visiting New York, the first thing I always say is don't go to Times Square. And then it's always too
Right.
late. And they tell me, no, I booked a room at the
I know.
something
I'm like,
Times Square. I'm like,
No, don't go
"What?
there. Like
I got
lately,
pizza at Sabaro's. Wait, what?
Sabaros.
What?
Oh my God, '86 Mets. So what about now the Showtime Laker book? That's another book that you.
So
got,
that,
and that was a big hit too, right?
that was big.
Yeah.
And that's the one. It's my first book that's been optioned. That actually, I've had stuff optioned, but that's the first one. That's
Now
actually,
HBO is making a series out of that.
Yeah. So Adam McKay is doing a series.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adam McKay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
That's
But
a
it's-
big deal.
Yeah, I was like,
So-
not being humble. Like I just wrote the book. Like
Right.
people keep saying, "Oh, man," and it's great. It's also money that you're, like from, but it's like it's thrilling. It's cool.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah.
And how many episodes are they getting? Like 8 episodes?
I think it's an
something?
8-episode first season, and then I
Yeah.
want to do.
So McKay is behind it.
Yeah.
Who's starring in it?
So John C. Reilly is playing Jerry Buss.
John C. Reilly's playing Jerry Buss.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then Michael Shannon is playing
Yeah,
Jerry
he's-
West.
He's a dark kind of actor. He's playing Jerry West.
Yeah.
Jerry-
And then you know who was in it? Who we met? So my wife and I got cameos, which is kind of cool. 'cause
great.
We're just nothing. Gabby Hoffman. Do you know who Gabby Hoffman is? So she was in Transparent. Did you watch Transparent?
I watched Transparent.
Pretty good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
So
pretty
she
good.
was the young sister in Transparent. Anyway,
Okay.
But she's in it too. It's like, and then the actors are all like, it's funny. The cast is Kareem, a guy who used to be a center at Cal. So he's 6'10", but the guy playing Magic is only 6'2" in real life. So we're on the set, and he has like, I mean, you've seen all this stuff, but like he has like sneakers like that big. So,
Oh, wow.
the height, disparities.
To boost them up.
Is
Yeah.
this coming out this year?
2021.
Oh, okay.
Supposed to at least.
Oh, so you've been there while they were filming a little bit?
Yeah, I've been for 2 days. I let my
Yeah.
kids be extras in the background, which is cool.
How does it look? I mean, so far?
great.
So
Pretty
Adam
great.
directed all the episodes, or he just
He did.
exec?
I think he did the pilot.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
That's kind of exciting. Is that the first book that they've kind of?
yeah, I've had books. All right, so the Bad Guys one
So the,
was optioned, and I got
what happened with that?
$30,000, right?
Yeah.
It was my first anything, and someone's like, "We will give you $30,000. You want to option a book?" And I'm like, "Whatever." 30 years old, and I say to "Oh my God, they're gonna make a movie out of my book," but like, nothing ever happened.
Didn't happen.
Then other books get optioned. We can give you $4,000 or $2,000. You know, like, oh, that's
Right.
great. And after a while, you just become very. I mean, your business is a freaking nightmare.
Yeah, it is.
It's-
Just because you option a book doesn't mean it's going to happen.
And everybody loves everything. This is going to be great. Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great.
How many you got one on the USFL?
Yeah. I've won on so I did the Bad Guys one.
Bad Guys one.
Then I did Bonds. Then I
Bonds.
did the 90s Cowboys. Then I did Clemens. Then I did Showtime, the Lakers book.
Right.
Then I did Sweetness, the Walter Payton book. Actually, those are flipped. Then I did Favre,
Brett
Gunslinger by Favre.
Gunslinger.
And now I have a Shaq Kobe book coming out.
Shaq who?
Shaq and Kobe, like
Oh,
the
Shaq and
Lakers.
Kobe.
It's almost
Oh,
like
you-
a sequel to that.
Oh, so you're doing like a sequel
Yeah, kind of.
about Shaq and Kobe?
About that era, 96 to 04.
Exciting, exciting.
Wow.
That's good.
I love Shaq and Kobe.
You do? Who do you like more of the two?
I like Shaq.
Who do you like more?
Probably Shaq.
Yeah. He's more likable.
Well, I didn't grow up a Kobe Bryant fan. So.
You didn't?
No, I didn't grow up a Laker fan.
Who'd you grow up rooting for?
Well, I didn't really start rooting for the NBA till I was like 11 years old.
So are you a Cavs fan?
I mean, I like LeBron James.
Yeah.
So
Who doesn't?
yeah, but I mean, I liked the Knicks when Stoudemire was on the team, and then
I hate Carmelo. Carmelo's my
Melo
least favorite.
came and
Oh.
He's like he carries like a virus with him.
Is he a Hall of Famer? See, I say no.
what as
say,
a player? I mean, the
yes.
way the NBA Hall of Fame works, yes, he is.
I
Hall
know.
of
See,
Famer.
that's the interesting. He makes a good. This is a smart kid out here.
Yeah.
It's all about what the Hall of Fame is.
Yeah, I mean, see, they do a show here called All the Smoke too with Matt Barnes and
Oh, yeah.
and Stack, and basically like I heard Dwayne Wade made a point. He was like, in NBA, if you're a great player and you don't win, you're looked at as kind of like you weren't as special as you were. And he goes, that's why LeBron wanted to win so bad. And I was like, okay, well that makes sense. You know, Carmelo Anthony's was a great player, but he's never won shit.
Also, it's amazing how he goes to Portland, and they suck.
Yeah.
Like, that is unbelievable. Like
Yeah.
he carries a stink with him.
Yeah. Some players are like
Sucks.
that. They're not winners.
When I was a kid, I remember Reggie Theus. It was like Reggie Theus. You look at his stats, you're like, whoa, Reggie Theus, 19-7 or whatever, and you're like, he's great, but like never wins. There's
Yeah.
some guys who just
Just a numbers guy.
I remember Melo coming to the Knicks, and it was like, okay. And then Amari's numbers slowly went down and down. And
They
then he
were
got
a more
hurt.
likable team before they made that trade.
I say that all the
With
time.
Amari,
Gallinari.
Gallinari, Wilson Chandler, and Ray
Wilson-
Felton.
Yeah,
those are the guys they
had
gave up.
They had like a team. They had like chemistry.
They were like a really fun
Yeah,
five
they,
seed.
I went to a game with my brother. I said, "Wow,
They made a joke about that team in Uncut Gems when he says to Garnett, he goes, yeah, Stoudemire, he hit that shot, right? Stoudemire hit. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, what are you talking about? He's like, he hit that shot before the buzzer, right?
How funny.
Yeah, he made that joke in the movie.
oh, that's what they were referring to."
yeah, you didn't catch that?
No.
Do I need to see that movie?
You
Yes,
really
you
need to see
do.
that.
It's really good, yeah.
I saw it
It's
4
really
times.
good.
It's really
Oh, you
good.
did?
Yeah.
All right.
And
My
it's
wife
like
didn't want to see it.
it's very Jewish too.
Is it? Oh, no, I'm very Jewish.
So, man,
Actually,
it's
I'm not that Jewish.
It's a
but-
Jewish festival.
Yeah, is it? Oh,
But it's
nice.
fantastic, but I love it because they're like New York Jewish guys.
Just to be clear, though, Rod Carew, not Jewish.
Yes, I'll have to I'll tell Adam Sandler that.
Not a
Amari
Jewish.
You know.
Stoudemire is Jewish.
Because there's something very
Correct.
different between L.A. Jewish people and New York Jewish. Very different.
But I'm a New York Jew living in
Yeah,
Southern
but you're a New
California.
York Jew living in L.A. So,
I
that
love
doesn't-
Katz Deli. Huh.
yeah.
Cat's Deli's great.
Yeah.
You want to be Jewish?
I'm an honorary Jew. I went
He's
to-
an honorary
you're in.
Jew.
You're
I
in.
went to
Because he went
13
to so many bar
mitzvahs.
mitzvahs.
How have you gone to 13 bar mitzvahs?
I played it in Encino Little League. It's all Jewish kids.
It's like all Jewish kids.
Okay, so when you go to a bar mitzvah,
Yes.
well, you would know this. What do you give? Do you
Money,
just give the 36?
money divisible by 9.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's like Kriegel just gave my daughter some money, and I said, "How did you come to this number?" He goes, "Oh, it's a Jew thing, Nick."
That's so funny.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
say he's very funny.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Money divisible by 9, yeah. I remember I went to so many, so at one point it was like, if it was a close friend, we had to really give a lot of money.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't, it was like, all right, here's like whatever divisible by 9 over $60.
You coming to my son's? It's in 3 weeks. You coming?
Hey, if you want me to come, I'll
It's great.
come.
You got an entertainment value?
Yes.
He can DJ. but yeah,
Done.
What do you need?
If you need, he's good too.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah,
He's damn
give me a
good.
call, man. Let me know.
He'll come out
Nice.
if you need
Yeah.
him.
Orange County?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
What's your
I'll have to drive
What's
him.
the theme of the bar mitzvah?
No, see, we're not like that. We're not we're a low key.
Oh, nice.
There's no theme.
It's just a good time.
Yeah, it's like I mean, my wife's family's are from Long Island, and it's
Where on the island?
she grew up in Five Towns. She grew up in Eula
Oh,
Woodmere.
I grew up right around the corner, Rosedale.
Oh yeah.
Just like Johnny
You
Drama.
Eula Woodmere.
Woodmere.
So the Five Towns, the bar mitzvahs.
I love it. 5 towns, man.
There. She's like, so she grew up in New York City. She moved to the city when she was a sophomore in high school. So when people ask where she's from, she says, "I'm from the city. I'm from New York City."
But she's from Long Island.
Yeah.
She's from 5 towns.
And when she's around her cousins, it
That's
always
a
comes
great
out.
title. Like they used it in Entourage.
Yeah.
Johnny Drama, like the name
Yeah,
of the series.
5 towns.
5 towns. Because, Ed Burns and those guys, and they're all from Valley Stream, which is right next to Rosedale. Eddie Burns and Brian Burns' brother, I know, he's a writer too. On Blue Bloods, he wrote on Entourage too.
I used to write it for Newsday. For a year
Yeah,
and
I
a
know
half.
Newsday. I used to deliver Newsday.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had a paper route when I was a kid.
It's kind of died.
Newsday. All right, favorite Met of all time.
Mine?
Yeah,
George Foster.
George Forster. George Forster?
George Foster. I
Wow.
love George Foster. Wait, I just want to say he comes to the Mets, right? 82 season, big signing, right?
Yeah.
George Foster's told. He's like in his press conference. He says, "I just want to give a warning to all the planes coming out of LaGuardia, because I'm gonna be hitting a lot of home runs."
Yeah.
His first season stat line: 13 home runs, 70 RBIs for
Yeah.
George Foster.
He tanked, I
No,
know.
big time.
Well, I'm about number two. Number two.
Number 2 favorite Met?
Yeah.
Probably Mookie.
Mookie?
Love Mookie. You know what Mookie Wilson does now? It's the greatest thing ever. Not because he needs money, just because he's awesome. He drives a rig across country, like a
Really?
truck. Yep.
Wow.
He's the nicest human being in the history of baseball.
That's cool that you like those kind of. I like that.
Who's your favorite? Met.
Or Met? I
Yeah.
told you, Cleon Jones.
Oh, yeah, right, Cleon.
Yeah.
And your favorite Yankee of all time?
Is Munson.
Oh, yeah, mine.
I love Thurman Munson. He just something about him, his face, the number 15. Look at that number.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic. I like Bobby Mercer too.
Yeah.
Bobby Mercer's up there for me. Roy
One thing
White.
I never told you when I did that John Rocker story, I had to face John Rocker 6 months later in the Braves clubhouse,
Oh, you did?
and he comes up to me.
So what was that like?
It was terrible. And he's like, I'm walking down the hallway, and he's like, "You don't know how long I've been waiting for this." And he just lights into me, right? He's chewing into me. He's huge, and when it ended, there was one guy in the tunnel, and it was Bobby Mercer, who was calling the game for the Yankees. And he comes up to me, Bobby Mercer. He's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, you sure you're okay, son?" I'm like, "No, I'm okay." And I always remembered, honestly, the kindness of Bobby Mercer at that moment.
Wow. So he put it on you, huh?
Yeah, he was Rocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Was it bad?
He was like, especially in my face, this far away, jabbing me in the chest, and he's going, "Do you have any fucking idea what you did to me? Do you have any and he goes like this. It's my wife's favorite line. He goes, "I fucking drove you around Atlanta. I fucking introduced you to my family. I fucking bought you lunch." And I found my courage, and I go, "Well, actually, I paid for lunch." And he goes, "Well, fuck you." Blah, blah.
How did you feel? How did you
I
feel?
was intimidated. I was 27 years old and
Yeah.
out of my depth, and
Right.
I couldn't. We could have fought 100 times. He would have killed me every time. He's a big,
Sure.
roided up, and also as a sports writer, you can't do anything.
Right.
You can't do anything. Like, what do you just take it? And the truth of the matter is, the reason I was there is, in journalism, you're always supposed to show up. Like, you're always supposed to show your face. That's something you learn from the New York reporters a lot.
Right.
And I learned in Tennessee. You always show up. So they were talking, we're going to cover this series. Who wants to go? I didn't want to go. But you're supposed to go, and you're supposed to give him the opportunity to say what he wants to say.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of being a reporter, I guess, the life that you got to be able to sometimes
To
stay
be
in there.
accountable.
Right. Got to be accountable.
You don't see that as much. You don't see that very much these days.
Not
unfortunately.
today, right? No, I mean, journalism is kind of like, come on. There's no
gone very the way of
newspapers
Twitter.
are gone. It's sad, man. You seen the Daily News? It's gone.
I was talking to Mike
Saddens
Vaccaro. You know
me.
Mike Vaccaro from the Post? He's a columnist for the New York
Yeah.
Post. It's great. And he was telling me, recently we were texting, and he's like, 10 years ago, I'd be sitting in the press box, and you'd be surrounded by all your rivals from all the newspapers.
Right.
And now it's kind of just, I'm the only, there might be one other columnist.
Right.
The New York Times, they barely cover sports anymore. It's just a bummer.
It is a bummer. It's. Did you know a guy named Mike McLaren? He was like a crime reporter for the Daily News.
You going to tell me something sad?
Nah, I was just thinking about that as maybe a series. A guy that covered crime. I don't know. From a reporter.
Is he still there?
No, he's gone. But I mean, it doesn't have to be a period piece. But
Yeah.
I've not seen a series about like a reporter like that.
A New York City
New York City
crime
tabloid
reporter.
guy.
These guys were awesome.
Fucking great. Like he covered that 7-5 thing. You ever seen that documentary on those cops? The 7-5.
Is that not the Central Park Five?
No, the 7-5 is a precinct in Queens.
Uh-uh.
Oh my God, you never saw it?
No.
It's a great documentary.
Is it?
You
All
got
right.
You got to see that.
Okay.
You got to read the Peppertone book.
All right, I will.
Let's do this again.
All right.
Or maybe I'll come down to the OC.
Great.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Jeff Pearlman, everybody. I didn't introduce the guy.
Doesn't matter.
Oh man, that was fun.